Hey everyone, welcome back to ACT Math Quick Hits. I'm Paul Beckvar, a high school math teacher in Naperville, Illinois, and I'm here to make the ACT math section a little less intimidating. You can see our rundown of the math ACT section, the 45 questions in 50 minutes. You have the Desmos graphing calculator, and then the breakdown of the content. So let's get right back into it. The question today involves what we call a quadratic, and we know it's a quadratic because the very first term here says x squared. So that piece right there, the highest degree is a squared. That tells us that we're dealing with a quadratic. That tells us that our graph would be a parabola. It also tells us that it's possibly factorable. So that is what this question wants us to do. So it asks us to find which expression is equivalent to x squared minus x minus 30. So there's a bunch of different ways we could do this. What the question wants you to do is it wants you to understand that because it's a trinomial quadratic, that we could factor this, and both of our binomials would start with x, because x times x would give us that x squared. These missing pieces here to our binomial, they would need to multiply to this value here of negative 30. So they would need to multiply to negative 30, and they would have to add to this piece right here, which is a negative 1. Kind of hard to see because there's actually not a number there, but it would have to multiply to that negative 1. So that is what the problem wants us to do. So you would have to then just think of two numbers that multiply to negative 30, and those same two numbers have to add to negative 1. Now, let's say you forgot how to do that, right? And you're panicked because you're on the test and you can't remember how to factor. Another thing you could do is just go through every single one of the answer choices. Let's do this in a different color. Go through every single one of the answer choices and just do the distribution. So x times x would give us x squared. X times negative 10 would give us negative 10x. 3 times x would give us 3x, and 3 times negative 10 would give us negative 30. Then we would combine our like terms, x squared minus 7x minus 30, and we would see, does that match the original equation? Well, it doesn't, right? So that's obviously not answer choice A. We'd have to do that with every single one down the line to figure out if that's how it works. This is kind of the most straightforward approach, but this would also take the most amount of time. So let's look at another way to do it, which could be one of the faster ways, especially if you can't remember how to do the factoring. So the other way we can do it is with our Desmos graphing calculator. So again, this is a very powerful tool that helps make our assessment much easier. What we would want to do is we would want to graph that initial expression. So y equals x squared minus x minus 30. Right? We see we get this parabola in red, and that's what it looks like. So what we could then do is we could go down the line with each of them and graph them all and see which one lines up exactly with the red graph. So we already know it's not choice A. So I'm not going to bother doing choice A. But if I just go down the line and do x plus 6 and then parentheses x minus 5, so it would have to line up perfectly, right? It looks very similar, but it's not perfect, right? It's a little bit to the left of it, so it can't be that one. So let's go to the next one. Y equals x minus 6. And x plus 5. And notice that green one lines up perfectly, right? I can turn it off and turn it back on and notice that it lines up exactly with the red one. Now you could keep going, right? You could try the next one and see if it works out. That would take a little bit more time. I'm pretty happy on knowing that it does match up perfectly. So we are on to choice C. So again, I know these videos aren't the most exciting, probably not your favorite thing to do, but remember, your future self is going to thank you if you like and subscribe so you can keep getting these math hits. Have a great one.